Hello guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the 2000 NHL Draft. Now we're going to be looking upon this draft, seeing what players came out of it, and of course the bust that happened there too. The draft being located in Calgary this time. Now this draft, it was pretty different. And I say different because we didn't see that many stars come out of this draft. I mean, we saw guys late in the draft that would come up. There's a lot of steals late in this draft. That's a key thing from this 2000 draft. But you didn't see a lot of star guys coming from the draft that has just been dominating the NHL just throughout the last generation. And there wasn't a lot of stars in this draft. There wasn't a lot of guys that came in and dominated. And it's filled with a lot of solid players, just no stars in the league right now. Now, there are a couple of guys that are debatable for that, but let's just get into it. And you guys will start to notice that it's filled with a bunch of guys that are good, as I said, but not filled with a lot of star power. It was overall a draft where a lot of these guys made the NHL. There wasn't a lot of guys that didn't skip out, but there wasn't really any star power here. In the first round only, which we'll get into, there was only one guy in the entire first round who didn't play an NHL game. That was 15th overall, Artem Kiernikov from the Buffalo Sabres. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he never played an NHL game, and he was the only guy in that first round that didn't even play anything. There was a couple guys that played one or two, but he was the only guy that didn't play any. Now we'll start with the top three, and then we'll just announce the players for each round that played over 500 games. Of course, the famous Rick DiPietro going first overall. He had lots of potential, and I think he was deserving of that going into that draft. Of course, he was looking like a star goaltender, and when he played, he was pretty good. With the Islanders, he had a few games, and he played a little decent career, but of course, concussions got kind of took to him, and of course, the injuries kind of plagued his career, and while he was playing pretty decent when he was playing, he just couldn't make up the injuries. At number 2, you got Daniel Heatley, who was another solid player for the league. He had a couple of great seasons, a couple of fantastic seasons, and he's another good player to come out of that draft as well. He's a pretty good second overall pick there. And then at number 3, you got Marian Gaborik, who, of course, is still playing over 1,000 games. He's done his fair share of great seasons. He's had a fantastic career as well, over 1,000 games. He's definitely deserving to be in there. Now, we'll make our way through the draft, but we'll start with the players that had over 500 games. In the first round, we'll start out with Danny Heatley, of course, played 869 games with 372 goals, 419 assists, 791 points. And then you had third overall, Marian Gaborik, who, of course, has 1,035 games played. Amazing, with 407 goals, 408 assists for 815 points. Fourth overall, I got Rastislav Klesla, 659 games played, 48 goals, 111 assists for 159 points. Again, I'm going to botch some of the names, so be careful here. I'm number 5th overall, we got Graviteh Torres, who is 635 games played, 137 goals, 123 assists, 260 points. Again, 5th overall for Graviteh Torres, not a great pick for New York. Remember, they picked Rick DiPietro first and Graviteh Torres 5th, so they weren't having the strongest draft, at least for the first 5. At 6th overall, you got Scott Hotnell, who, of course, has 1,249 games played, 327 goals, 380 assists for 707 points. He's still playing with the Nashville Predators there. At 13th overall, you had Ron Hainsey at 987 games played, 53 goals, 223 assists for 276 points. 18th overall, you got Brooks Orpik there, who had 982 games played, of course, still playing with the Capitals in the Stanley Cup Final. 16 goals, 169 assists for 185 points. 20 overall, you got Alexander Frolov, who played 579 games played, 175 goals, 222 assists for 397 points. You got 21st overall Anton Volchenkov, 696 games played, 19 goals, 114 assists, 133 points. Again, kind of like a Brooks Orpik, where he didn't have any offense either. You got 24th overall Brad Boyes, who was playing in the league until a couple of years ago. He has 822 games played, 211 assists, 94 assists for 505 points. And to round out the first round, you got a couple of guys who have played major NHL time. Steve Ott from the Dallas Stars, 25 overall, 848 games played, 109 goals, 179 assists for 288 points. Then you got Justin Williams at 28th overall, 1,162 games played, 289 goals, 444 assists for 733 points. And for the last one, in the first round, you got 29th overall Nicholas Kronwall, 874 games played, 80 goals, 325 assists for 405 points. And that rounds out the first round for all the guys that have played over 500 games. In the second round, the talent pool kind of drops a lot. There were 6 guys over 500 games played. You start out with Nick Schultz, who had 1,069 games played, 30 goals, 145 assists for 175 points. 38th overall, you got Thomas Kopecky, 578 games played, 68 goals, 106 assists for 174 points. 46 overall, you got Jarrett Stoll, 872 games played, 144 goals, 244 assists for 388 points. 54 overall, Andris Liga, 588 games played, 16 goals, 71 assists for a measly 87 points. And to round that out, you got Antoine Vermette, 55 overall, 1,046 games played, a lot there, 228 goals, 287 assists for 515 points. And last but not least, 62nd overall, got Paul Martin, 870 games played, 50 goals, 270 assists for 320 points. And of course, there you obviously saw a major drop-off in the first round onto the second round. I think I might just put this third and fourth round together because honestly, it's pretty crap. In the third and fourth round combined, you only had 4 players combined from those 2 rounds that played over 500 games. That's usually a lot less than other drafts, but it was obviously pretty disappointing there. The third round started out with Mike Rupp, who played 609 games played, 54 goals, 45 assists for 99 points. Of course, he isn't really a point guy. He's all for those penalty minutes. Then you got Dominic Moore, 46 overall, who was a good pick there, 897 games played, 106 goals, 176 assists for 282 points. Then you go to the fourth round where you have Nicholas Wallin, 614 games played, 21 goals, 58 assists for 79 points. And 118th overall, you got Lubomir Visnovsky, 883 games played, 128 goals, 367 assists for 494 points. And then right on to the fifth round, yeah, those third and fourth rounds weren't that great. But of course, as I said before, you started to see some late round steals. As in the fifth round, you have Matt Hendricks, 581 games played. He was 131st overall. 581 games played, 54 goals, 59 assists for 113 points. Travis Moen, 155th overall, 747 games played, 59 goals, 77 assists for 136 points. 159th overall, you got John Michael Lyles, 836 games played, 87 goals, 283 assists for 370 points. And starting off in the sixth round, you got Darcy Hordichuk, 180th overall, 542 games, 20 goals, 21 assists, 41 points for, and honestly, 1,140 penalty minutes. He's making up for those fights, man. And then 194 overall, a bit of a surprise here, Derek England, 548 games played, 27 goals, 82 assists for 109 points, and of course, he's playing with Vegas in the Stanley Cup final. It's a small world. And then a round 7, quite possibly one of the best round 7s that we'll probably look into here. You start off with Henrik Lundqvist, 205th overall, 919 save percentage throughout his career, 237 goals against average throughout his career, and 805 games played. Obviously, one of the best draft steals of all time. Then you go to Matthew Lombardi, 215th overall, 536 games played, 101 goals, 161 assists for 262 points. At 220th overall, you got Paul Gustad, 727 games played, 89 goals, 142 assists for 231 points. And last but not least, 224th overall, Antti Mietinen from Dallas Stars, 539 games played, 97 goals, 133 assists for 230 points. And the 8th round and the 9th round, there's pretty much nobody. And of course, back then, you had a couple of extra rounds, but obviously didn't prove to be really useful in this. But as you could tell, there was 4 guys with over 500 games played in the 7th round of this draft. That's the same as both the 3rd round and 4th round combined. Yeah, obviously there were steals, but that 3rd round and 4th round, not looking too good. That's what I'm saying when this draft was different. You saw draft steals like Henrik Lundqvist in the 7th round, but you'd see only 2 guys come out of the 3rd round with over 500 games played. That's what I'm saying. It was a really wacky, really weird draft where we saw guys getting steals in the 7th, 5th, and 6th round, but when it came to that middle part, when it came to that 3rd and 4th round, and somewhat to do with the 2nd round too, it was just not good at all. And when it came to the 1st round, there was just a solid slate of pretty decent guys. But for the rest of it, it wasn't that great until the 7th and 6th round where you saw some steals there. So, since it's just fitting, let's make a top 5 guys that come out of this draft. I'll start with Henrik Lundqvist. Of course, already talked about him. He's an amazing guy and has been the New York Rangers guy for a long time. Of course, that steal in the 7th round. I'd have number 2, Daniel Heatley, who of course was 2nd overall. Had a good career there with both Atlanta and all those guys. Number 3, got Marian Gaborik, who has over 1,000 games played, but has been injured the last couple of years. But he's still an amazing player and has been for a long, long time. Number 4, I have Justin Williams, Mr. Game 7, now with Carolina, but he's played over 1,000 games. He's definitely got that experience too, and he's been huge in some big opportunities. And at number 5, at last, I have Scott Hartnell, who's played over 1,200 games and definitely deserves to be up there. If I had to go with number 6, I'd probably go with Nicholas Kronwall. Getting Kronwall, I love that phrase, so pretty much just for that reason. But again, this was a weird draft. You saw some draft steals, you saw a pretty consistent first round of just solid guys, but you saw that middle round where there was just nothing to be had there, and it was a weird, wacky draft, and a non-traditional draft where you saw a lot of draft steals come out of that, and not a lot of star power, something that drafts don't usually have. But I kind of like it when these drafts seem different, when there's a lot of draft steals, when there's a lot of things going on that we don't usually see. With the 2000 draft, it was definitely a wacky one, and looking back on it, it was a very interesting one. Of course, you saw some great players come out of it. No really 2 stars. Henrik Lundqvist might be that, but you saw a lot of consistent, decent players come out of it. No really huge star powers, but in the 2000 draft, it was very consistent. It was very consistently decent, but there was a couple of rounds where it obviously wasn't good, but you saw some excellent draft steals. But again, this is going to be the first video of, I guess, 17. We're going to be looking at the drafts from 2000 to 2017 on the way to the 2018 draft, which I'll be at. But this is the start of a new series here, I guess, mini-series. But we're going to start with the 2000 draft, and obviously, we've started here. We're going to be making our way up to the 2017 draft in preparation for that 2018 draft. But that's going up for today, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Tell me down below what you thought of this draft. What do you think of the steals from the draft? What do you think of the first round? What do you think of this draft as a whole? And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.